I'm just gonna pick her up.
Dust on the dash, spiders in the seat, keys on a hook like a heartbeat on repeat. She's sunk in the shed under boxes and boards, but I swear I hear her breathing through the doors. You say she's done, I say just wait, turn that down into duct tape fate. We're resurrecting Sherb, bringing back that blur of mud and sun and shouting in the air. Hey, she's been sleeping in the dark. We're about to hit the spark. Wake her up and get us out of here. We're resurrecting Sherb. Yeah, resurrecting Sherb. Oil on your hands, coffee on my shirt. You curse every bolt, I laugh through the dirt. Batteries a brick, but the hope's still loud. We talk to her frame like she's part of the crowd. You say if she starts, I might just cry. I say, turn the key, let's see her try.
Alright guys, let's get to the nuts and bolts of things about this car, because Sherb's been missing in action for approximately a year. And what do you think about that? You've never even rode in this car with mommy before. I don't think so. I'm going to tell you guys what happened. Story time, because you know I like to tell stories, guys. So, this car was in an accident. Krista tipped her over in Glamis. We were off with Lulu's Offroad, and surprisingly, none of the suspension or anything was really hurt except for her. She was kind of bruised up, but she was okay at the end of the day because there she is. She's still alive. So anyways, we're going to bring Sherb back to life. Will I or her ever drive it again? Maybe as a farewell goodbye once I get the car completely back together. So we're going to get the car back together. I just went and ordered the parts and ordered a bed delete kit for it. I'm going to clean it up really nice. It's going to look good. It's still got a really nice paint job on it, and we're going to bring it back to life. Vern, before he retired, he did build us a new roof. I got to get that painted. I've ordered some new plastic pieces. I've already installed the new radiator and the core support for it. So yeah, I'll have this car back up and going in a couple weeks, and then she'll go up for sale. It's just time to get rid of her. We're trying to eliminate some of our debt, and selling this car would definitely help us have money to go towards that. So I'm going to tell you the story of what happened. I kind of think I told it a long time ago, but for the new subscribers, if you never realized we even had this.
Yes, come here, mommy.
Got to change Miles' diapers. We're about to go on an adventure, which you'll see in the next video. But anyways, so it's a 2020 Turbo RR XRC. We got it in 22. It's been a great car. It runs great. We've done with this in many of our beginning videos. And basically, we started our channel kind of essentially after my Turbo S burnt to the ground. But what our plan is to get this car up and going, make her look really pretty again, and make sure it's mechanically sound for whoever buys it. And then she'll go on to her new life with a new person. I'm gonna sell the car for cheap, guys. What I would consider cheap, consider full body paint and all the stuff that it has. The market just sucks right now. But the story, let me get to the story. I'm sidetracking, my bad. So I had this car, and we let it sit for a little while, and I turned my insurance off. And since we had a loan on it, the bank picked it up and said, you got to have insurance. So we're going to give you full coverage insurance to cover the loan. And I said, okay, cool. I said, if I continue to do it this way, like when we go drive it or whatever, is it going to be okay? You know, is it going to cover us if we're in an accident? And they're like, of course, it's regular full coverage insurance. So, well, we go off. Krista rolls it. Couple, this is like months later, but I'd been paying just the $60 extra a month on our loan payment because I was like, hey, $60 a month, full coverage, whatever. We'll just leave it there. It's a decent deal. So Krista rolls it. I file a claim. The insurance company, guess what they do? They send the check to the bank, and the bank deposits it toward the loan, which is cool. That's, money they took off our loan, but they basically, now I have no money to afford the thousands of dollars that I needed to fix it. And I argue with this bank. I go left and right, and then all of a sudden they're like, well, you need to take it to a reputable shop and we'll pay the bill. And I'm like, well, bingo, I'm a real reputable shop. I do insurance jobs all the time. I have a real business license. I am a legitimate. Multiple insurance companies use me to fix wrecked cars. Speaking of which, you wreck your car, need a shop. I've taken some cars and fixed them, and you've never known they were ever wrecked. So I'm arguing with them. Then they're like, well, we can't let you do it as conflict of interest. And I'm like, I'm the one that built the car. How is it a conflict of interest? I know this car in and out. I know what was put into this car. And I trust myself repairing my wife's car more than I trust a shop other than mine. Not saying there's not good shops out there, but guess what? This is my wife's car. I'm going to fix it right. I'm going to make sure that everything is to the T and she's safe, because that's the big thing. She's my wife. So we go back and forth. And then they're like, well, we'll let you repair it, but we're not going to pay for it until it's repaired. And I was like, that's backwards. Like, this is backwards. This is wrong, guys. I have never done an insurance job ever in my life, ever, where I started repairs, fixed the car, and then they pay me. Never. And I have done a ton of insurance jobs. I don't know how many, but I've done a ton of them. And to me, it's just not right. It's wrong. Like, you don't tell the customer, if it was a regular customer, hey, get your car fixed and then we'll pay you. The bank already got paid. They deposited the money towards my loan, and they made a mistake, and they know they did. And so anyways, I'm like, well, I don't have several $1,000s spare just sitting around to fix this car and then hope you give me the money back. So instead, what I've done is I've just waited several months, put a little money back so I can be able to afford to fix this car. And it sucks, guys. It really does. Like, it really sucks the way that this bank handled this situation. And once this car is sold, I'll tell you who the bank is. I don't want to create problems until then, but I just think they're dead in the wrong, if you ask me. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Am I wrong for thinking this? I don't know. I just know that I feel like we got screwed over on it. So that's the story of Sherb and where she's at. Right now, I've already fixed several things on it. Just throughout the last few months, I've just been kind of piecing together. When I have extra money, I just throw it towards Sherb. And now, today, I completed the last order of the parts that I need, which is cosmetic stuff. And I got to send them to my buddy Kevin to get them painted. And then after that, Sherb will be looking good again and ready to roll. Luckily, nothing happened to it mechanically or suspension-wise other than the radiator and front end, and I've already fixed all that. So I guess here we are, guys. It really sucks. But Sherb will live again, and you'll see her in the dunes, and somebody else is going to buy her. So that's my short story for the day. It's a quick, short little video, but I just thought I would share you guys the status of Sherb and our many days in a row of videos. And now we're about to leave, and I'm going to make the next video, and we're about to go somewhere. So see you later, guys. Have a great day. Bye. Okay, guys, I just got done editing this video, and I was watching it, and I was like, man, I forgot so much stuff that I was trying to say. I think the moral of the story I was telling you and why I was so frustrated, and I kind of left this part out because I was just trying to remember how it all went down. But essentially why I was so angry is because the woman, some higher up on the corporate side of it all, she was like, well, how do we know that you're going to take this money and fix it? And I was like, why would I not fix my wife's car? Why would I be paying on a car that I can't drive? You know what I mean? Like, and it just, that's why I was so upset about it, is because I get, basically, she was like accusing me of taking the money and just doing whatever with it and not fixing my freaking car. So that's why I was so angry. I just thought I would throw that in there really quick for you guys. Anyways, let me know your thoughts down below. Some of you guys have never ever ran a shop or done insurance jobs, so it's kind of hard, but I can tell you I've never, ever been in a situation where the insurance company sent the money to the lien holder to have it go towards the lien and not me. To be fair, they accidentally totaled out the car. The bank did. They thought the car was totaled out. The insurance company never said it was, but the bank thought it was. And I told them, no, it's not totaled out. Nobody said it was totaled. And they argued with me back and forth, and then they realized they made the mistake. That's why I said earlier, they made a mistake. But at that point, they had already taken the money in, and they refused to give it back to me until I completely fixed the car. And that's why I'm so upset. I don't know. You be the judge. Comment below. Am I wrong? I don't think I am, just based off of my actual experience and not just opinion of something I've never done before. But who knows? Who cares? I guess at the end of the day, it's done, and Sherb will live again. We just went somewhere cool right after this video, so it'll be a fun little video, a little exploration. So I hope you like it, and we'll see you tomorrow at 6 in the morning. Goodbye.